Welcome to today's special interview where we dive into an inspiring story of resilience, innovation, and movement. We're joined by an amazing, incredible lineup. Abigail Ward, a determined young woman with cerebral palsy who is using Bungee Super Fly equipment to push her boundaries, and her supportive mom who witnessed her transformation firsthand. Of course, assisted by her personal trainer, our beautiful and amazing Bungee Super Fly instructor, certified instructor from the UK. We're here to discuss how bungee fitness is helping people with disabilities build strength, mobility, and confidence in ways that traditional exercise sometimes can't. Our goal today is to raise awareness about the revolutionary methods and inspire both individuals and professionals in health and fitness industry to consider bungee as a valuable tool for rehabilitation and empowerment. Well, thank you for coming today. And well, of course, I would love to share your story, Abigail, with the whole world because it's just amazing. And I think more people deserve to know what you're doing and what is happening and how it's, well, how you progressed and made yeah, transformation happen. So maybe it's just nice to introduce all three of you. Abigail, do you just want to introduce yourself?
So my name's Abby. I'm 24 and I've got cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy, but that's not who you are. It's just, tell me, who are you?
Don't really know what to say. Bit like background.
Who makes you you? Because I believe what you did in the bungee and how you progress is amazing. So I I expect your character will be a bit of well, not like the average. Do you? Are you?
No, I'm willing to try things, um, try new things, give everything a go. Yeah, but
Hmm.
not really give up on things.
And that's always been the case. That's what she's always been like, always willing to give things a try.
Give things a try. And so I think trying new things in general is good for everybody because it keeps you young and it stimulates parts in the brain as well that keeps you, healthy. So what do you see? I don't know, Mom, what's your name? Can you introduce yourself too so we know who you are?
Yeah, so obviously my name is Michelle, so obviously I'm Abby's mum. Um, so yeah, I had Abby obviously when I was a lot younger. I was only 22 when I had Abby, and she was born with quite a few complications. She was prem. So Abby's whole journey has been like a learning curve, you know, for everyone, Abby and myself. So it's just been kind of a battle over the years with schools and facilities, and getting access to things. But it's just we've been luckier than some. We've not had to fight as hard as other families fight for the services that they receive.
Mm-hmm.
But we've still had quite a lot of battles, which is, I think, where quite a few of the issues lie with what children and adults can obviously access. The
And as well, I
facilities
think what makes it harder is once you hit 18, all those services you used to up until that point kind of get stripped away once you turn 18. So that's when you got to go out and find new things.
Yeah, Elaine told me I was really like seriously. So from your 18, you're turning 18, and then they say, okay, this was it. Good luck with your life.
That's
And then
exactly.
you're left like with that for the rest of your future.
Yeah.
So I think we should well, Abigail, I don't know, you should tell me, but you were determined to see more possibilities, right? So what did you try before you discovered bungee fitness? What was your, can you say anything about what were your uh disabilities and what were your goals, were your aims to improve?
So when I was in school, I got physio quite regularly, once a weekend. I used to go swimming and other things like that. But once I kind of left school and we got strict of that, it was like 3 years looking for a personal trainer. So now I have a personal trainer who I've been with for 2.5 years now. And then this is when I found Bungee, literally just scrolling through Instagram, and found another girl with cerebral palsy that I think she did it in London somewhere. So then that's when I started looking here in Liverpool. And I'm not sure, Elaine, if that's when it hadn't been open that long, maybe when I messaged it. Looked quite
Yeah,
new.
it was quite new. It was probably this time last year. So, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. And I think within the first half an hour of being in here, we were like, I think all three of us were a bit like, I don't think this is gonna work. Yeah, I couldn't even stand up in the bungee, never mind anything else. So I really didn't think it would be possible. But even after the first session, even after the first hour, I could see improvements already.
But you stayed. So somehow the bungee showed you there might be more, or
yeah, no, definitely. Like for example, like being able to get on like the walking pad running machine. No, I never ever thought that before.
that's so amazing story. Because actually, when you saw the bungee the first time, what were your thoughts? Were like, okay, I just want to be in there and see what I can do, or did you see already potential in improving your mobility?
My only kind of aim was just to stand again. And once I'd done that, I'd achieved everything. So everything else was a bonus.
So did you think when you saw the bungee on the Instagram, did you think you were going to be able to do what they could do? Did you see?
I hoped, but I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
Okay, Elaine, we have to go to you because she stepped into your door. You just opened a studio. Tell me first a bit of your background, because as a personal trainer, I know you worked with many different type of clients before already. Tell something about your background and how, well, of course, how you started to work with Abby.
Okay, so I've been a personal trainer for 10 years. So I've done everything, spin, you name it, circuits, I've done it. And when lockdown came along, I saw the bungee and I thought, that looks like a really hard workout, but fun. See, because I was looking at it from a personal trainer's point of view, thinking that's actually harder than what people think. So that's why I liked it. So that's why I sort of moved forward with it. And it was only when I came over to Amsterdam that I realised that the other possibilities that you could use it for. So yeah, for me as a personal trainer, it's great to see that there are no barriers to anybody. It doesn't matter whether you're tall, small, larger, skinny, it doesn't matter. Everybody can get something from it. And if you place that next to being in the gym, it's not, people, it's very intimidating in the gym. Whereas I've tried to make this not quite so intimidating. And one of the things that you said to me about setting up a studio was don't have mirrors. So I have no mirrors in here, and absolutely that works best because people are not looking at themselves in the mirror thinking, oh my God, look the way I look, or this is terrible. They actually can focus on just having fun. So yeah, so that's that. And then Abby contacted me one Sunday afternoon and we had a little chat on Instagram or WhatsApp, whatever it was. And it's funny because I was with my friend and I went, cerebral palsy? I said, are you kidding me? Is this woman having me on? So I asked my friend who works in that social services, and I said, do you really think that she's going to be able to do this? And my friend said, of course she will, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, great. So I was willing to give it a go if Abby's willing to give it a go. But obviously I explained I'm not a physio. I don't know how to manhandle you in your chair. That's where mum comes in every week. We've got this little team going on for like 3 little whatever they are. And the first session with Abby, yeah, it was a bit chaotic, I think, because I knew the bungee would do it. I was confident in the bungee. I just had to be confident in Abby. So the hardest thing for me was getting Abby the right height. And that took us quite a while to faff around in it, put you on that, no, that's too small, put you on that, that's a bit high. But once we'd found what works, the height, I knew straight away that she'd be fine at it. What I didn't realise is just how a mental mindset blows me away. For somebody that's not, that's had a bit of a rough ride here, who will just go, yeah, I'll have a go at a handstand. Yeah, I'll have a go at this. And I'm like, what? I get a lot of able-bodied people in here. When I say, let's do a handstand, I'm like, oh, no. So Abby's, enthusiasm and gung-ho attitudes. We've had a few near misses on the floor, haven't we? A few. But bungee saved you. I didn't. The bungee saved you. So yeah.
Good one. Well, courage for both of you, I would say, or three, both,
Yeah.
all three of you.
Three of us.
Because Michelle, if what were your thoughts when Abby thought like, okay, let's, Mom, I want to go in that bungee.
I didn't think it'd work. Abby never asked my opinion on whether I thought she should do it or not, which is a good thing. She made a decision. She wanted to go. She's 24. She's no reason why she couldn't make her own decision. But I thought, no. When I saw the videos, I was like, she's never going to be able to do that. And I'm really glad she didn't ask my opinion. So obviously we come the first time, and Dad come as well, because we didn't know what to expect. And even like the first half an hour in it, I was thinking, what are we doing here? This is not going to work. And I'm so glad, Abby didn't give up, and she come back again, and Elaine let her come back again. And it was, I think, just how we've adapted. I mean, obviously Abby can't fly through the air like other people can, but the way we've adapted it, the way Elaine's adapted it for Abby, is just, is brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Just the standing alone and being able to do exercises without worrying about holding the weight is massive, is really, really big. I mean, seeing Abby walk again, she hadn't walked for years. She hadn't stood properly for years. So to see her doing that, and again, Elaine said to me and said, I brought, walking pads, and I was thinking, oh my God, what has she done? It's not going to work. She's not going to be able to do it. And again, I was proved wrong, and I'm really, really glad. So yeah, getting Abby get back on her feet again after years of nothing, and obviously over COVID, where Abby didn't see anyone. She basically left school when everyone was sent home, and she was in the house for a couple of years, no exercises, nothing. And she was going for massages every couple of weeks because her body was so stiff. And now she doesn't go for them at all, because she's getting the exercise through a PT and through bungee. And there's just no services out there at all. Trying to find a PT that'll help, that'll do it, is just so hard. There's just, and I understand it. I understand if you've never.
A lot of them are scared of it.
Yeah. If you've never worked with someone with a disability before, I completely get it. I completely understand it. But there's such a market out there to help people like Abby. It's massive in the PT area, in the bungee area. there's a massive, massive market available. But I mean, people can't even go to the gym. You know, there's just not the facilities at a gym. A lot of the equipment isn't made for people in wheelchairs. So there's just such a big market, and there must be, you know, a lot of people like Abby that just don't know it, just don't know how to, you know, access it. Yeah. And again, it's finding someone like Elaine that will say, do you know what? Never worked with someone with that disability before, but I'll give it a go. And that's rare. That's very, very rare.
Yeah, so that's why a big applause to Elaine also to take, you know, to say like, okay, it's a nice challenge, let's do it. And I think this is beautiful, yeah, and the importance of this interview to spread this word. So we need to train more instructors, personal trainers like Elaine, and the importance of it to help more people and to show the possibilities instead of the disabilities. And so, yeah, I was wondering, Abby, if you can tell me what type of exercise you did before, and if you could explain a bit like, okay, how was your mobility before doing bungee? And maybe not only, well, that we will go in there after, but I also want to know how you felt before and after, if it changed more than just physically, that you found more yeah, mobility or possibilities to move and build strength and, you know, stability mainly. Yeah, tell me.
I think because I used to do it in school, so it was literally on like a plinth, a bed, so you could only do like kneeling, really, really basic stuff, and it was the same thing week in and week out. So it was like I got to a point where I was like, do I really need a physio? Because I know what I'm doing. Because he couldn't really do much with the space that they had. So it was kind of very limited, and it was the same thing constantly. So I think it was more finding the bungee, it was something new, something different, a different way to move our muscles, I guess, was the biggest thing, really.
What we've noticed is so Abby's on the walking pad and her legs are strong and blah, blah, blah. But when you took a couple of weeks off, you can notice the deterioration in the muscle strength really a lot. So we went back on that walking pad after a while, didn't we? And you really struggled. And then next week when she came, you know, it's built back up again. So I think, I don't know medically, but maybe people with this type of disability, they lose muscle mass more quickly than what we would. I don't know.
I think it's more muscle memory as well.
Exactly, I wanted to say that too. How about muscle memory? Yeah.
It's with cerebral palsy as well, it's the spasticity. So because of the spasticity, the muscles can't develop. They can, but it's a lot harder. So Abby had an operation when she was, how old? Do you want to tell about the operation?
So yeah, I had an operation when I was 12, and it was basically to go into the spine and cut the nerves because my legs, the only way I could describe it were like two planks of wood. They had no movement in them whatsoever. So even back then, this wouldn't have been possible because there was absolutely no movement in my legs. So having that has helped me be able to do bungee.
Okay, that's important information. So you might advise others to do the same.
It's the operation she had was called selective dorsal rhizotomy. It used to be really big in America. And then they brought it over to the UK, but people used to have to pay for it. Then they made it available on the NHS, and Abby was one of the first to have it on the NHS. And again, she was really lucky with the surgeon because the uni used to offer it to younger children who wants to take that spasticity away. They can walk, or they'll have the ability to learn to walk. an Abby's surgeon did it just to basically make her more comfortable, more than her getting back on her feet. And you did initially, didn't you?
I did initially get back on my feet, but it got too difficult. So that's when I kind of got back into the chair completely, and then hadn't really walked until getting back into bungee really. So I'd say I last walked properly at the age of what, 10? And then didn't really walk again properly till 23, 22, 23.
That's really amazing, because it's very interesting also to have a proper look in how the nerves improved as well. Or there is somehow also the bungee gives more feedback to the nerves or other parts in the brain that take over, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, to look at that operation would be really useful for you, because you'll be able to see how the spasticity takes over the body, makes them so stiff. So she had about 70% of the nerves in the spine cut, which obviously can never be reversed. But it just made her a lot looser. So the brain is constantly sending messages. And then, so when you make a movement, your brain tells which muscles to move. When you've got cerebral palsy, everything fires. So it's then hard for the brain to only tell the correct muscles. So you'll see a lot of, they're very stiff. So it's severing all those muscles that are sending the wrong messages, which made her a lot looser, which stopped so much pain.
Because the cramps were 24/7 towards the within the last year or two before the surgery, so it was really bad.
So what I see, what I saw also when other people's, of course, stepping into a Bungee Super Fly harness and bungee, is that somehow the way, I think also we designed it in a way that is stimulating through the groin area and stimulating the psoas muscle, which is also connected to, well, a lot of the fight and flight system. And, so how could we prove, let's say, that if I hear your story, it feels like there is a lot of, it works the other way around. So the signals come from the body back to the brain, and the brain starts to take that more easily than the other way around. Do you know what I mean? So somehow with the deep pressure of the harness, the lifting of the bungee, but still it supports you, but you have to find your own balance. So it's not that we put you into something that holds you standing, because then the brain doesn't get signals how to do that on your own. So somehow it's just a little support, but forces you to find new connections and new neural pathways in the brain.
I think it is, but you're not going to fix the damage that's been made.
No.
It's damage, it's done.
But when you're just doing a squat, right? At first, when you were squatting, I had to hold you to keep your balance. Yeah. But now you can do that balance by yourself, can't you?
Yeah.
So somehow your muscle memory has come back. So that bungee is not, even when the bungee tries to tip you forward, 9 times out of 10, you don't fail.
Yeah.
You manage to pull yourself back, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just a lot of repetition as well, like doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, so I think that the muscle memory, that the body starts to recognize and understand what you want to do, and because you made a huge progress. So no, you cannot fix the damage, but you'll find other ways, right? So I'm just curious to hear what changed. What are you able to do now that you couldn't do before? And besides the fact that, I mean, it's amazing that you can stand and walk on the walking path. That's really mind-blowing. And I wonder if other women like you with the same disability are able to do the same, because it might be your determination and your like never give up character that brings more and more repetition, and now slowly the muscle memory is increasing again. So I wonder how it's not improving only during the training with Elaine, but how does it feel for you in daily life?
It's definitely given me more strength within kind of the tops of my legs. Like now, if I slip at home, I can get back up really easy. Like it's not as much of a struggle
On transfer.
on transfer.
Yeah.
If I slip, I can get up. Which I think is good for you, isn't it? 'Cause
yeah, definitely.
you know,
yeah.
not stuck
It's
on the
good for your
floor.
bad back.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's more confident as well when Abby's in the house on her own, and I know she does a transfer and she does fall. 9 out of 10 times she can get herself back into a chair. So, like you say, building that muscle to make her transfers a lot easier. You know, it's independence.
How does that make you feel, being more independent, Abby?
Yeah, and it's nice to be able to do things without having to ask for help constantly.
That's
It took
great.
me years. It took me years to accept it, but yeah.
You're doing really well. This is because I just wonder also if it's also the achievement, does it bring more confidence, or how does it bring any emotional difference?
Definitely more confidence. That's probably the biggest thing, to be honest.
So that confidence that you've gained from this, does that affect when you go into your job? Do you feel more confident in the job, or
Yeah.
just with fitness?
Both, but I think because I've now got a PT, she can't really wear my legs because the gym's not equipped for like the right equipment, so she does a lot of arms, so it's kind of like I do arms with her and I do my legs here, but she's definitely noticed the difference
But
doing the both.
But for you personally, so when you go into work now, do you feel more confidence in yourself, or you that's not really? It's not affecting that part of your life.
I wouldn't say so. Maybe it is, but I've just not kind of realised.
I think she had confidence in other parts. I mean, she's always been really confident in her abilities, in her work. She, you do amazing there, don't you? She does really good on that side. But at the minute, we're kind of in, we've found the PTs, we've found Bungee. We're in the middle of trying to get her a new wheelchair. So at the minute, we're trying to just put all the pieces together. I mean, I think if you come and ask us in 12 months, we're hoping with the new wheelchair we're going to get, things will have improved drastically again. And we're getting a new chair, she'll have to learn how to do different transfers, doing the exercises and making her stronger. It's like a big puzzle. We're just trying to fit, as many pieces together as we can to give her as much independence. The least time she has to spend with me is a bonus for Abby. I don't want to have to spend all the days with me. I want her to be able to go out and do things for herself, and she's got the confidence to go out and do her own transfers and things like that. She's very socially anyway. That's massive for me. I mean, not that I don't like spending time with Abby, but I don't want her to feel like she has to spend the time with me. I want her to say, I'm going to town today. I've got the confidence in my strength to be able to go to the toilet myself, or to transfer onto a chair in a restaurant myself. And I think, because we've had so long without, from 18 to now, we're all just kind of finally being able to bring all the little pieces of the puzzle together. and hopefully it's all going to fit and all be perfect.
That's great. More space to move for everyone, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was wondering, Abby, can you imagine that um, other people like you with also that have like the same kind of disabilities, um, if they're scared to try bungee, what would you like to say to them?
Just give it a go.
Hmm.
See what happens.
And I mean, you were determined, but what was your first? I mean, the first sensation was like, okay, well, it was a bit chaotic and still try and error. What happens now if you're stepping into the bungee?
Um, I'm pretty I'm pretty much fine. Yeah, because I've got the core strength and that kind of stuff. I think the core's really improved. I mean, it's never been weak anyway, but it's definitely improved.
Things like
And do you look forward every time you step into the bungee? Is it also giving fun, or you're just there to make progress and you know?
Think how you're answering this. Okay.
Yeah, definitely, but it's yeah, definitely, but it depends on kind of how tired I am.
Some sessions are better than others.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And it depends whether Abby's tired and what I push her to do. So, because we've got this little team going, I can normally look over at mum and go, can we push it a bit harder? And, we'll say yes. Abby doesn't want to be pushed harder, by the way, because she's tired. But, yeah,
I think we've all worked it out for each other now, but we kind of all know where.
yeah, I'm just going to leave it to you two now. I'm off.
Well, we definitely see there is a lot of potential for a lot of people to. I mean, yeah, Elaine, we need to bring this under the attention of more trainers, right?
Yeah.
So at least also, I think for both people like Abby, but also for caregivers and for personal trainers or instructors, um, it takes quite a courage to say, like, okay, let's give it a go. I mean, for you, Abby, it's like, yeah, of course, give it a go, try new things. But what if we go back to where you ended your rehab until you were 18? And they were just saying, like, okay, there you go, you're in the wheelchair, and this is what we could have done so far, and good luck with your life. Um, if we go there, what do you want to say? What do you want to show them?
That anything's possible, really. Like,
the thing about the conversation you had with Joey the other
the facilities just aren't there for people.
day. Yeah, Abby was speaking to a physio
Mhm.
on Thursday, who was in the local children's hospital, and Joe was saying that what was it Joe said to you?
Just that she's got loads of kids in my position, but she doesn't know kind of where to tell them to go next because the facilities just aren't there for them to go to, kind of thing.
They set them up, they drill it into them all the way through the childhood to stay. And we had it as well, stay active, do as much exercise as you can, keep building the muscles.
But you can't stay active if the facilities aren't there.
Yeah. So she said she feels like she's setting them up to fail because as soon as they turn of age, they kick them out the door and there's nothing.
So we have to create more facilities, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If facilities aren't there, we have to bring it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it's a sad story to hear also that after 18, you're just left with yeah, actually nothing. So it requires a lot from the caregivers like you, Mom, Michelle, and also I'm really sad to hear that when yeah people that cannot afford any more PT sessions they missed this opportunity. So there is for me at least, I don't know, that's why we're in this interview, to speak to the medical world, to say there is this bungee that is really, really beneficial, to bring more progress to many. And we really hope we can bring it under their attention. So yeah, more
And I
people
think a
can
lot of
enjoy.
it is if it's repetitive in the sense of exercises, kids get bored. Like they don't want to do your typical stretches, your typical exercises because it's boring.
Yeah, we have to make it more fun.
Yeah, this is a bit different, isn't it? Where
Yeah,
you have to, looking at you every week is you have to rely on you more than you have to rely on me. Whereas when you've got a physio, I'm guessing the physio does.
they kind of write the plan and you just go along with it, kind of thing.
But when they're working, are they putting more energy into manipulating your muscles, or are you?
I think it's more manipulating than it is strength, really.
Whereas now
it's more strength.
You're in charge of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even though I'm holding this, you're the one. I'm not physically moving your body. No. You're moving your body.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's also the important part of how we work with the physics, right? How we play with gravity, that it works in your advantage, that you've been supported, but at the same time feeling the resistance that you need to move. So if you bring a movement to the bungee, there will always be a reaction of the bungee, and that gives again a reaction to your body back. So this. Yeah, how do you say, this is going back and forth. I think this is completely different than any other type of exercise that you do with a physio.
Definitely.
And I think so. So the main benefit of being in the bungee is the physics part, is the way we can play with gravity and play with resistance and play with elasticity, and put more weight to it, put more power to it, and see what will be the reaction out of that. And I think in your situation, for another person, it might be very small, but for you, the progress is really big. So, yeah.
And each disabled person would get something different out of it,
Even the same person with cerebral palsy gets something different out of it because it's such a varied kind of disability. It's the line of it's quite big, isn't it? Kind of.
No two are the same, are they? Yeah, it's so varied what you can get. I mean, there's so many people that have it, but it affects each person differently.
Like for me, it affects all 4 limbs. More my legs and my arms, but it does affect my arms.
The interesting thing is that the bungee is also affecting everybody in a different way. So if we would do the same exercise with literally everybody, then one feels it in the calves, one feels it in the back, one feels it in the butts, and so it is depending. I think the bungee will always bring something positive, but we cannot foresee in advance always what it will be. So, but it's interesting, like you say, just give it a go and see what will happen. Yeah. So what do you see will be the first next steps we should do?
I think it's trying, being the key word, trying to find organisations you can kind of get into. I don't know that it'd be a hospital, like that's the problem, finding the people you can talk to. Unless you did like focus groups with people with disabilities, that could be another option, and then speak to professionals.
I think it'd be, for me, it'd be accessing the hospitals, accessing the physios at the hospitals that can help you spread the word, can give you the advice where to go and who they think would benefit, and how you think you can, kind of approach them people. I mean, there's there's different things set up for kids. We used to attend something called Stick and Step, which is like conductive education, which originates from Hungary. And they had a team over in the UK, which still happens today. But it's maybe trying to tap into these kind of groups as well.
I think it's hard with Stick and Step, isn't it? Because it's a charity.
It's a charity, but they're working with children with disabilities. But the only kind of thing with that as well is that they have their way as well of how they think they can help people. You know, conductive education is very repetitive, isn't it?
Very repetitive.
But it's been going for years, and you know, a lot of children will go over to Hungary for 2 months at a time and do this kind of treatment and exercise every single day. But I think it's trying to find these kind of charities as well, which might be able to either help spread the word or again offer advice on
Maybe things like Scope.
Scope, yeah.
There's another one. That's a charity, isn't it? I don't know if that's just for people with cerebral palsy or it's all disabilities.
That might be able to help adults as well. I mean, are you looking to tap into kids or adults more? Are you trying to, or would it be just adults?
I think the earlier you know that the bungee exists for you to help, the better, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that we want to work with kids or adults, both, but if we can make a difference already with kids, then I think becoming 18 will be, well, I mean, maybe a bit a better experience if you already have made more progress.
And I think with the younger demographic, they're less fearful.
Mm.
Yeah. I think as you get older, it's like, oh shit, I'm not. No, I can't. I'm not. Whereas the younger ones are like, yeah, let's give it a go.
Yeah. I think it's a hard one because if you target the younger, then obviously, they're not going to have the same fear. They're going to be more willing to give it a try. But on the other hand, they have facilities adults have nothing. So if you target the children, as when they become adults, they then have something to go into. So I think it's a bit of a hard one who you'd actually target, which would be your best.
Maybe it'd be like kind of the age range of like 20 to 35, kind of, it's adults,
but they've already left the system, haven't they?
Yeah,
so
if
you target it 17,
16, 17,
16, 17 at least,
before
like say that you've got, okay, well, we're kicking you out at 18, but hey, there's a nice studio there, you can go and do X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I think that would be the age range to target, 15 plus.
Okay.
That's still in the system, but getting ready to leave. Because I mean, if a child left school at 16, which some do, they then lose that facility at 16. It's only when you leave education, so it's not the 18 mark. It's most children leave school at 18. But if you left at 16, you'd lose it at 16.
It's like I left at 19 due to being ill, so I was lucky. I got an extra year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could also look at like the special needs schools. They really struggle because they stay on longer in education, but again, once they leave that, they have nothing as well. So as much as the special needs schools might be harder, I still think there's a possibility of something to offer children with learning difficulties and physical as well. There could be something in that as well.
And I think as well in the special needs schools, you've got physios on site that are already there, so you don't have to go and find the physios to train them. They're already kind of there, and they know what the people do.
Do you think they're open to learn this technique to help the clients?
I'd like to think so. Like, you'd hope they'd want to try something new as well. because they're the ones giving the kids the exercises, and they know themselves. It's the kids don't really want to do it. It's more difficult because it's the same thing week in, week out.
And they also know that as soon as they leave that school, everything's over for them anyway. There's nothing out there, no facilities out there. I mean, it caused over 2 years to find a PT. Abby contacted numerous personal trainers who either just refused point blank or
you kind of message and ask, and then you mention the disability and don't get a reply.
Oh my God, that's really bad. So they're just afraid.
yeah,
They're just afraid. They don't know what to do with you. They don't know how to adapt the exercises. So we need people that are like thinking out of the box and be creative, and we can lean also on each other, because also, of course, Elaine, you were getting in touch with me and with Josh to say like, okay, we're here to support if anything you need, but you did great in the end. You didn't need us at all. Right? Because you have enough experience in your backpack that you can lean on. Well, some things are just common sense and intuition, but also what I like a lot about you, the three of you, you really team up. Like, okay, let's get this done. let's do it. We should be sponsored by Nike, by the way. You all need to be sponsored by Nike.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it. PT, because I'm not a physio, my biggest fear is hurting Abby. Okay, so.
But I think because I've always had the mindset and the joke of, sounds bad, but I'm already broken. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do much else.
can't do anything.
And then at least you had fun, right?
Yeah.
But it's very rare. People like Elaine is very, very rare.
I've been lucky with Elaine and the PT I found after 3
Yes, thank you, Lord.
after 3 years finding, because I found a PT before I found Elaine. So I've been lucky in that sense. People will probably be lucky to find one person.
Yeah. And the way we found Abby's other PT is that when Abby used to go for massages, again, we've just felt quite lucky because it was through one of the physios at Alder Hay that used to work and do extra work outside of the hospital. It just happened she knew us from the hospital, and she was the one who, I think, did Paula go in to see?
Yeah. So my PT went into my physio to have massages herself, and then they just kind of got in conversation. And I think it's more of that thing of who, not what, in this kind of, people get talking. And
yeah.
Did you bring the physio in the bungee as well?
I think I spoke to Joe about a couple of the things, didn't I? But I think it was just more, we should give it a go, and if it doesn't work,
But she's not been in, has she?
No.
But I mean, the physio, when Abby went to a PT, was willing to come with us if needed to help her, to help Paula get started, to know what she could and couldn't do. But I think it is literally just fear. And I get that. I completely get that.
Like, if you were to help your friend Ellie who's got CP,
yeah.
You panic, don't you?
I mean, Abby's friend who she went to school with, she's cerebral palsy, slightly different to Abby. Now, I've had Ellie at ours, and it's scary because I don't know how to handle or help her disability. Abby, I know what I can and can't do, so I can understand the fear, and I completely get it. But we've got to just find more people that are just willing to do what Elaine and Paula have done and just go for it.
But also, from a mum's point of view or a carer or whatever, I couldn't do it without your help. And that's why we bumble along.
Yeah.
So if somebody came in and said, oh, here's Joe, here's the wheelchair, see, I'm going shopping for an hour, I'd be like, what the fuck? You kidding me, aren't you? So it's something that you need. It's not something that, you need the help of the carer or, if somebody came in, just I'll read the paper. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know how to move you properly. I don't eat
I think as well, though, saying that, like, I've been with my PT now for 2.5 years, I think. And at the beginning, you were coming in and helping, and now she literally just picks me up and throws me back in the chair. Like,
yeah, because you've got that.
But it's taken time.
Yeah. You've got that connection and you've put that time in. If somebody came in today and just said, see, I'm going shopping, be back in an hour, going for a coffee, I'd be like,
as much as it takes three of us, I think if I come in one day and said I'm just nipping out, I know like you need help, but I think you could. It wouldn't bother you being on your own with that one out.
No, it wouldn't bother me. No.
I know like the skips I couldn't do.
Yeah,
it does take three of us to do it, but it's just building it, and it's just finding people that are willing to try, and there's just so many through fear are just not, and it's just so sad. There's just a massive market for it.
I think you've always said,
if it wasn't, oh sorry,
if
it wasn't be if the caretaker, if the mom wasn't there, you should bring your physiotherapist or your other PT and then do it together, right?
Yeah. But you know, again, outside of those hours, you know, there's not a lot of PTs that are kind of, or physios that are prepared to go outside of what they do as well. You know, I think there's they do their bit in the hospital or within a school, but without that, apart from that, they're not that interested either.
Mm-hmm. I think the problem that you might have in organisations, like taking it in somewhere as opposed to in a studio, is
they're already setting their ways, aren't they? Like,
well, also just the logistics of it, the environment, the height, and all of that, whether it'll hold the weight, and because I had a physio in here from oh my God, Bupa, the private place, and he said this is fantastic. This would be great for people with arthritis.
Arthritis, yeah.
Yeah, he said it'd be great, and I said, well. He said, but I couldn't put this in the hospital because the building wouldn't, you couldn't take the infrastructure. And I said, well, then why can't you send them to me? And he said, well, why am I going to send them to you when I can, I'm getting paid. Said, why would I? Because this was a private facility. So it's like, I'm not going to send somebody to you, so you're taking my money. So,
I think that's another thing as well. Services don't work together, do they?
No,
they all work by themselves and do their bit and then send us the next bit. They don't. Like, we figured this out with my wheelchair. Like, I'm getting one part from one place and another part from the other, but them two services don't speak to each other.
Too bad. The communication is always difficult everywhere you go. And for sure in the medical world, it's terrible sometimes.
And it's different opinions. Again, the same with the wheelchair. What the Liverpool wheelchair services think you should do against what a private wheelchair company think you should do is different. So, they don't agree with each other. So it's and you could have different facilities that just don't agree with what actually, well, I can't see how the bungee would help, or well, I can't see how that facility would help.
Like,
it's that as well. They don't even agree, or they're not prepared to disagree to even come together.
It's like when I had the big Atlas selective dorsal rise after me, there was a couple of people that really didn't agree with that or something, that kind of thing. You cut an edge, you didn't work, but I did it, and it's the best thing I ever did. So.
That was massive, like say some groups, charities didn't think we should have done the operation because you can't be reversed, you can't go back, you can't put those nerves back together. And they were like, just work on muscles, but it didn't matter how much we worked, we wouldn't have been where we are today if she hadn't had it done.
It was still a good decision. Hey, Abby, because you would never expect it to be able to do what you're doing now with Elaine, walking for 3 minutes on the walking path. What are your hopes for the future? What do you hope for that the bungee can help you improve?
I think at the minute it's still taking it kind of week by week and seeing what happens. I think
you want to be open. for whatever happens.
Yeah.
That's smart. Not to be disappointed.
Definitely, I think that's the easiest way to go. And then if something doesn't work, you're not disappointed.
Exactly. You still should enjoy.
We're trying to get it on the bike at the moment.
Oh, wow.
So we've got bike, but obviously because I didn't know how cerebral palsy works, when Abby goes round, her legs go out, not like
Okay.
on a bike like ours go like that. So we're having trouble with the pedals, trying to keep your feet in, aren't we?
Yeah.
But I think she'd be perfect on the bike, dead easy. You would easily do that.
It's just
Let's see.
it's keeping her feet in, because
Yeah.
when she's had like a trike when she was younger, her feet were completely strapped in. So when one goes round, the other has no choice but to go with it.
Mhm.
Her legs don't work independently, so they just kind of
It's all or nothing, isn't it?
yeah.
That's
Okay, if you could describe the bungee with one word, what would you say, Abby?
free.
That's exactly
Don't know.
right.
Yeah.
Free joy, or
Yeah.
was it? Okay.
Definitely joy. Maybe when I'm feeling aged,
No,
I'm
that's
not as
me.
short.
Working with me is a joy, not a bungee.
I really look forward to see what we can do together, and what we can how we can make things work. Either with a focus group to get more people, like your friend, for instance, in different kind of version. But let's see what we can do. Um, I have also a question, Abby. If you would have a bungee, would you put it at home?
Space, so we just don't have space to move in our house. Never mind the bungee. Time to the kettle.
If our house was big enough,
I think it's like any other equipment over the years. I've had it at home, I've had a standing frame at home that helps you stand it. If I'm being honest, I'd have that at home and I'd be like, can't be bothered getting in it today, can't be bothered doing it today. So I think going to things like this, going to things like this, you've got to do it. Whereas at home, it's easy to just, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later. How many times would I say that to you?
it's like having a running machine or anything at home that anyone normally gets, or an exercise by good intentions, isn't it?
It's like New Year's resolutions, isn't it? It's how long do you actually stick to it for? So it'd be good, but it'd be, I think when you've got someone there doing it with you, they're the kind of push, oh, I've got to, you know, I think if you're left to yourself, you're less likely to do it, because my standing frame I did have at home, it's now gone back to the hospital, but I think in the end it just become a clothes hanger, didn't it? 'Cause I never actually used it, because it's just easy to say, oh, I'll do that later, I'll do that in an hour.
Mm.
And you just don't do it.
Okay, so that wouldn't really help. But I was like, if it would, okay, I think because I was like, I want to support you wherever possible. So you deserve to have one on your own. But I think the most important is that there is an opportunity to go out and show others what you're capable of, or that we can bring one bungee in a place that we can really make a difference. So if you're like, for this charity, I don't know if they have the money to invest in one bungee equipment, of course, and to train one bungee instructor to help others like you. I'm willing to offer one bungee to send and to see where we can make a start.
I think as well as kind of, having it at home and being bothered to do it. I think in my case, I need someone to help me get in it. So it's all that as well. It's the time, it's the, by the time you're coming from work, it's all that as well. It's not just getting in it and putting my legs in it.
Yeah, not there yet. Maybe in the future.
Maybe.
But for you to know, if you have any ideas like, ooh, I know this place, they're open for it, but they don't have the financial, ability do a training and to pay for equipment, but they do have a possibility to rig it. So of course, we need a place that where you can put the bungee and we can train the PT or the physiotherapist to do it, to work with it. I'm willing to, of course, to contribute.
Yeah, Green Bank, there's you ran a corner from Green Bank. I went in there when I opened this, because it's specifically, it's a gym designed with people with disabilities in mind. I think it's the only one in Liverpool, isn't it? Yeah, so one gym in the whole of Liverpool. Ridiculous. I went in and put some flyers in there when I started, because I was trying to reach out to that community, and I didn't hear anything. But yeah, that's probably a place to maybe revisit.
Because the bungee is quite new, isn't it? It's not like the gym that have been around for years.
No.
Bungee is quite a new idea. A lot of people don't even probably know it exists.
I would love to empower others to do the same like you and see what will be the outcome. And the more of stories we have, that it has also for others a beautiful, an enormous added value for building strength and confidence, and have a lot of joy too. I think the joy is very important, to find joy in movement and progress. Yes, it's hard work, but you can have fun doing it at the same time, right?
Taking the piss out of it, right? All serious now. Michelle and Abby were having a hug the other day. Abby was stood up and Michelle did having a hug. And you know me, I'm like, oh, for Christ's sake, and all of that, giving it loads of shit. And Michelle said, I don't very often get to hug my child standing up. And I went, okay, I just... So that was powerful for me, not knowing.
Yeah, just having her in the bungee, we're stood together, and I'm not taking all of the weight. And she was hugging me, I was hugging her. It wasn't as big a deal as for me and Abby as it was, but I can understand how. Yeah, we don't get to. I don't get to hug her stood up. I'm always leaning over the wheelchair or sat crouched down. So yeah, but yeah. A little tear, didn't it?
It brought a tear to me glass eye.
But yeah, we're really proud of her. Abby's always pushed herself. She used to do swimming. She's always tried to find ways to, either get back on her feet, stay active, keep what she's got without, losing the mobility she's got. So, yeah, proud of her.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your incredibly story, Abby, and to spread the word to anyone watching or listening. If you're a coach, medical professional, or someone just looking for a new way to move, consider how Bungee Super Fly could be a game changer. Let's continue to spread the word and awareness to open the doors for more people to experience all the benefits that the bungee can bring. If you found this conversation inspiring, please share it with someone who could benefit from it too. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more incredible stories. Until next time, keep moving and keep inspiring each other.